We live in a world that never stops talking. Everyone wants to speak. Everyone wants to be heard. We think that the loudest person in the room is the strongest person. But what if I tell you that the greatest power in the world does not make any sound? What if your words are actually making you weak? And what if your silence could become your ultimate weapon? Today, I am going to tell you a story about a young man who lost everything because of his big mouth, and how he discovered the deep, hidden magic of silence. This secret completely changed his life, and today it will change yours too. Before we begin our journey into the story, take a deep breath. If you want to improve your English and learn deep life lessons every day, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Now, open your heart and listen closely. Many years ago, in a beautiful green village, there lived a young man named David. David was very smart and he was very talented, but he had one major problem. He could not stop talking. Whenever someone said something, David had to reply. If someone made a mistake, David immediately shouted at them to correct it. He loved to argue. He loved to prove that he was always right. Because of this habit, people in the village started avoiding him. Nobody wanted to talk to David. His friends left him. Even his family members were tired of his constant arguments. David felt very lonely, but he was too proud to understand his own mistake. He thought, "They are avoiding me because they are jealous of my intelligence." One day, a famous wise master came to the village. People called him the Silent Master. It was said that the master only spoke 5 words a day, but his mind was as calm as an ocean. David heard about the master and thought, only 5 words a day? This master must be foolish. He probably does not know anything. I will go and debate with him. The next morning, David climbed up the high mountain where the master lived. When he arrived, the master was sitting under a cherry blossom tree, meditating in deep peace. David walked up to him proudly and said, "Old man, I hear you are very wise. But why do you stay silent? Silence is for the weak. Words are for the strong. If you don't speak, how can you change the world? Let us argue, and I will prove that my words are more powerful than your silence." The master did not open his eyes. He did not say a word. He just smiled gently. David kept talking for 1 hour. He talked about philosophy, politics, and science. He insulted the master's lifestyle. He tried everything to make the master angry, but the master remained completely still. He looked like a peaceful statue. Finally, David ran out of breath. He was tired, his throat was dry, and he felt completely exhausted. For the first time in his life, David had to stop talking because there was no response. And in that moment of absolute silence, something strange happened. When David stopped shouting, he suddenly began to hear the beautiful sounds around him. He heard the gentle wind passing through the trees. He heard the sweet songs of the birds on the mountain. He heard the sound of his own heartbeat. For years, his own loud voice had blocked these beautiful sounds of nature. David looked at the master. The master opened his eyes. His eyes were full of love, clarity, and deep peace. Looking into those eyes, David felt a wave of shame. He realized that while he was shouting, he was wasting his energy. But the master, by staying silent, was saving his power. David dropped to his knees. His pride was gone. He looked at the master and whispered, "Master, please teach me. What is the power of silence? Why do I feel so weak before you?" The master looked at David kindly. He opened his mouth and spoke his 5 words for the day. Silence teaches you to see. David spent the next 7 days at the monastery. He promised himself that he would not speak a single word. On the first day, his mind was screaming. He wanted to speak. He wanted to give opinions. It was very difficult. But by the 3rd day, his mind became quiet. He started observing things he never noticed before. He noticed how beautifully the ants worked together. He noticed the changing colours of the sky. By the 7th day, David felt a strange, beautiful power inside his chest. He was no longer angry. He was no longer desperate to prove himself. He understood that silence was not a sign of weakness. It was the ultimate proof of self-control. When David returned to the village, an old neighbour saw him and tried to start an argument. The neighbour shouted at him, trying to make him angry. In the past, David would have shouted back immediately. But this time, David stayed silent. He looked at the neighbour with a calm smile. Because David did not react, the neighbour's anger had nowhere to go. The neighbour became confused, then quiet, and finally he walked away feeling ashamed. By staying silent, David won the argument without saying a single word. From that day on, David spoke only when it was absolutely necessary, and whenever he spoke, his words were full of truth and wisdom. Everyone in the village began to respect him deeply. My dear friends, this story teaches us 3 great lessons about the power of silence. Silence is self-control. When you are silent, you control your emotions. Angry people say things they regret later. A silent person waits, thinks, and acts wisely. Silence helps you listen. You cannot learn anything new while you are speaking. When you become silent, you start listening to others, to nature, and to your own inner voice. Silence is a powerful answer. Sometimes, the best way to respond to an insult or a foolish argument is no response at all. Your silence confuses your enemy and protects your peace of mind. Next time someone tries to make you angry, remember David and the silent master. Try to stay silent for just 1 minute and feel the power inside you. Before you leave, write a comment below using the word silence if you completed this video today. It helps us know that you are dedicated to your learning journey. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs this wisdom. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing your English, and I will see you in the next story. Stay peaceful.